Thank you very much. So good morning and thank you for joining us on our Q3 FY19 earning call. The present with me during this call are Mr. J.P. Jalsani, our Group CEO, Kirti Vagadia, our Group CFO, and our Investor Relation team. I hope you had an opportunity to review our results and investor presentation of Q3. I will share with you an overview of the industries, and my team will work you through our 9 months FY19 performance. We will then take your questions and also to give you the updates about the market. The transition period continues to impact the sector in the short term. However, there is a very clear visibility for the next 3 years, the growth opportunity. The government is strongly committed to its 2022 target of 175 gigawatt for renewable energy. Not only now, recently they have also announced the 2030 500 gigawatt because India's energy sectors will be built more and more on a renewable energy space. If you see the last the 3 years, the new capacity addition in the country in a calendar year 16 is a 42% and 17 is a 54% and the 2018 is a 74% new capacity is added in the power sector is only from the renewable. So this target is quite ambitious, but lots of the ground challenge. The requires about 30 gigawatt volume over the next 3 years in the wind sector particularly. And this required 10 to 12 gigawatt of annual the market size. FY20 is positioned to be the year of the huge volume based on the already concluded auctions. The 10.7 gigawatt of auction have already concluded till date, and large portion of which is likely to be commissioned in FY20 only. We expect the FY20 market itself will be 8 gigawatt plus size market, which will be 45% higher than the previous peak of FY17. Over the last 2 years, the teething issues such as the project execution approvals, the financing issues, the land allocations, the state and central coordinations have been resolved. And industries is now moving toward a seamless execution of the project, and that's why we see the next FY20 will be the execution years for the industries. The new era of the power sector has emerged because of some of the challenges faced by the industries in the last 2 years. The more focusing on the utility states and central government, the wind solar hybrid is the huge the solutions are coming for the growth. The wind solar hybrid project enable the better utilization of the transmissions, infrastructure and lands and improve the grid stability and reduce the variability in the renewable power generation. Just to give an example, if we have 100 the megawatt of the grid, wind solar hybrid we can able to penetrate at least 150 to 160 the gigawatt. So that is giving a good the opportunity to utilize the infrastructure, and same time it will increase the plant load factors in the grid systems, which is extremely good for the utility load management perspectives. The first SECI auction of the wind solar hybrid has already been concluded, and the second wind solar hybrid tender is also floated. So the momentum is going on a wind solar hybrid much and much more. The state like Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Gujarat have already announced a massive plan for the wind solar, the hybrid the project. So till now we are heavily depend on a SECI auction and SECI the business. So only one the supply provider was there. Now the Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Gujarat and Karnataka is coming forward, even Rajasthan also. And based on their the power requirement and their RPO obligation point of view, they are moving towards the more wind solar hybrid plants, and we see that very soon they will start the auction by state also, which will give us the good more opportunity, because state auction will be very efficient because they have to plan the resources, land and grid infrastructure in well in advance, based on that they will do the auctions, so that will be more efficient compared to the SECI. Offshore and repowering is other area, is the huge potentiality is increasing. The first 1 gigawatt offshore EOI has been the huge interest from around the 30 investor has shown interest to invest in offshore. Even the last 2 days before, 1.2 gigawatt bid on the onshore has come, and almost 2,400 megawatt investor has given the interest. So the demand side of the investor is very huge and large is there. The challenge is more on execution side is there, and now the lots of issue has resolved, alignment between central and state. So we see the good execution years in 2020. Apart from the auction, country has a very active market for the captive and retail market and PSU segment that's continue to grow every year, because the cost of energy is very, very competitive compared to the conventional and compared to the utility pricing. So more and more industries are focusing to bring their captive requirement and they can hedge their power cost for next 25 years through renewable energy source. I think that momentum is also increasing very well. We continue to focus on developing the technology and superior product while containing their cost of the developments. And the vital role in the renewable energy is coming from the technology, and because of the technology, the plant load factor is increasing, and the operative cost is also optimizing, and levelized cost of energy is coming optimum way. So we see the good opportunity in the Indian markets is growing, and that's why the large financial investors groups are continuously investing in a larger scale project. And also there is a quite good the competition in the marketplace is there. It is bringing the qualitative business in the India. So thank you very much. Now I invite my team to take through you our the Q3 and 9 months FY19 performance. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tulsi. Good morning to each one of you. I'm Chesani here. As mentioned by Tulsi, the teething issues of the transition period are now slowly getting resolved, or at least efforts are being made by all stakeholders to resolve these issues. Based on the already concluded auctions, there is a reasonable certainty that FY20 will create a new peak in terms of capacity addition, crossing beyond 5.5 gigawatts what we achieved in FY17. Suzlon's strong execution capabilities, full scope service offering and robust technology enables us to retain our market leadership position in India. We have the largest order win share from the auction market. Not only is our market share is highest, most important is that we also have marquee customers who are some of the largest utilities and IPP companies in India. I think this is going to play a significant role in moving ahead in Indian renewable market. In the recent quarter, we backed 328 megawatts of order from Adani Clean Energy under the bidding regime. We have been successful in improving our order win, tally and auction market share. As we speak, even today, ordering for almost 30% of the auction capacity is yet to be closed. We are in active discussion with our customers for a few of these orders and confident of further increasing our market share. Apart from winning orders, we are successfully executing the orders as well. We are the first and the only player to have commissioned SECI 1 project in full ahead of the schedule. Completion of SECI 2 project is on track and with most of the deliveries completed. Service continues to be our biggest strength. Our operation maintenance business continues to grow in size with over 15 gigawatts of renewable capacity under maintenance, of which over 12 gigawatts is in India alone. As we stated earlier, we are the second largest O&M company in Indian power sector, next only to NTPC. Despite such large and growing fleet and also with various aging factors, we have been successful in servicing nearly 100% of the turbines. This has been possible due to our high service standards and continuously improving customers' turbine performance, thus creating a very high degree of comfort with our customers. We have steadily improved and maintained machine availability of plus 97% of our fleet. Debt reduction, cost optimization and working capital optimization will remain our top priority, for which we are actively engaging with investors. I would now like to invite Kirti to take you through the detailed aspects of our financial performance.
Thank you, JPC, and good morning to each one of you. The prolonged transition phase is resulting in deferred execution not only for us but also for the entire industry. For first 9 months of this financial year, we delivered 349 megawatt with gross revenue of 3,557 crore, which is 40% lower on YoY basis as compared to last year. Due to lower operating leverage, our 9-month performance pre-FX EBITDA margins came at a lower 7.4%. You may notice that we continue to maintain tight control over fixed cost. OMS revenue grew by 6.7% on a YoY basis to 1,429 crores in 9 months FY19. Strengthening of rupee in the quarter resulted in FX gain. However, rupee continued to remain weak compared to the start of the financial year. Thus, our 9-month FY19 FX loss stood at 382 crore. Forex loss is primarily due to impact of fluctuation in rupee against dollar on our FCCB and SPLC backed AERS. While our net current asset is reduced to 1,667 crore, we firmly believe that our working capital as a percentage of revenue in the auction regime will be significantly optimized. Our gross term debt, including FCCB, is 8,307 crore. However, our repayment schedule is back-ended, giving us required headroom for operations. Despite the transition with muted operational cash flow, we are happy to announce that we are current on all our debt obligations. Debt reduction is our top priority, and as mentioned by JPC, we are actively working towards the same. There have been few questions about promoter pledge in last few days. We hereby inform you that the pledge of the shares done by the promoter is primarily as a collateral for borrowing made by the company. The said pledge is not subject to any mark-to-market requirement. Thank you very much. Now we are open for questions.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handset while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. We take the first question from the line of Puneet Gulati from HSBC. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, good morning and thanks for the opportunity. Number one, just on the data side, if you can give the installations done and sales on in megawatt basis.
Come again?
If you can share the data on the installations that you have done and the sales on megawatt basis.
For the auction, presume?
Yeah, no, yeah, for the total in Q3.
In Q3?
Yeah.
In Q3, the installations what we have done is installations is 1 second. I'll just 168. Q3 is 283 megawatts.
283 megawatts installation, okay. And sales?
Sales is 73 megawatts.
Sorry, volume is already given on slide. It is 67 megawatt.
67 megawatts. Yeah.
67. Okay, so when you say volume, that's a sales number, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Secondly, broadly on the industry side, if you look at last few auctions, both for wind and solar, the government seems to have withdrawn the excess bids on account of not being happy with tariff. How are you seeing the market? Do you think it can slow down from here, or are you seeing some signs that government may finally relent to higher tariffs as well?
Both are happening. If you see in the government is changing its stance. If you're seeing that in the hybrid bid, even if the bid quantum which has come is less than the total what is offered, they still wanted to go ahead and they went ahead and awarded 840 megawatts in hybrid. So therefore there is an intention on behalf of the government saying that whatever the bids come, we will move ahead. So, and as far as the investors are concerned, as in the opening comments Tulsibai said, if you look at the latest bid, which is in the current indication, in spite of the fact that we all keep talking about hurdles in implementation of the project, in the SECI 6 for 1200 megawatts, what is coming, so you have 2x times the offers which has been received. So therefore, I think that's significant. So everybody was saying that we will not cross 1.3, 1.4x, but you've got double the capacity, double the offers there. So I think from that angle, there is interest. Sorry, go ahead.
This was the SECI 6 you are mentioning.
Yeah, SECI 6. So which is the latest dipstick what you have as far as the investor interest is concerned. There have been discussions about the cap should be there, cap should not be there. So we still have the cap here, but as industry player, we think that cap is not the right thing to be there as long as you're running the reverse auction on this cap. But even with all that, what is important is that you received bids 2x. I think that shows the hunger, that shows the appetite for investors to come in. And at the same time, I think looking at hybrid, government also wants to move ahead. And they revise the targets. So therefore, once they revise the targets and they want to go more and more capacity to be added, then obviously all these things are required.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not updated on the SECI 6. The tariff hasn't been bid so far, right?
No, there is a ceiling tariff.
Yeah.
So in that, the first round of bidding has happened. I think probably 15th is what, if I remember right, is the reverse auction is going to happen.
It is 15th February.
Yeah, 15th February.
15th February. Okay. Secondly, also, you also commented that. Yeah. So secondly, you also commented that the developers haven't yet closed a lot of orders, and given some of the concerns on banking and NBFC side, what we are hearing is that some of them may probably never be able to close these orders. How are you seeing this?
I think the reason why we keep mentioning every single call of ours, and which if you notice that I mentioned that even my opening comments today, with the very, very competitive tariffs being out there, the capability of the developers to close financially and move ahead projects with funds coming on time is becoming important.
Yeah.
Therefore, I think while there is 10,680 megawatts which got awarded till date, about I think more than 3,000 megawatts, 30% of it still not finalized.
Yeah.
For various reasons, one is that depending upon which location are you bidding these projects, and do you have any constraints there, and second thing is your equity is there or not, and there is other factors which are playing the role. And also the fact is that because you have a longer time schedule now, still the industry still thinks that the earlier concept of you give an order in 6 months time you can get commission. Those psychological feelings are still there. So that some of the developers are actually taking longer time than what they should take for placing the orders, and that will have an impact on actually executing the project on time.
But have they been able to financially close those projects, or that has also not happened?
No, without placing an EPC order, you can't financially close anything.
Okay.
Just to add on two topics, so far as we are concerned as a company, fortunately we have orders from a strong utility companies, and in those cases we have very less reason to worry about their financial closure. That is number one. Number two comment is that if you look at the list of SECI 6 bidders, there are very, very strong counterparties entering into a bidding regime. There are new names also.
Yeah.
Just overall to understand, the game of the business is extremely changed. The bidding is one process, but three things has to be synchronized. A, who is a bidder? B, who is a OEM? C, which is the state you are targeting in the bidding process. If three is properly synchronized, they will be the winner to execute the project. If this three is not properly aligned, maybe bid will happen. It's an easy job. Anybody can bid and do. Then after that, whether project will come or not, it's depend on the three parameters. So if that is a synchronized, and then it will be the good. And that is why if you see the how many megawatt execution is happening out of the bidding process, we are very clearly leaders in this process on execution side. The bidding side, so many bidder will be there, but ultimate game of the business and real outcome is the execution. So we are leading these things. If you see the today 1050 megawatt has commissioned in the current the financial year. So who is leading that execution? I think that's the more important. It depends on state, bidder, and OEM. This synchronization is extremely important. Then rest of the things achievable. The challenge is for everyone is equal, but who can able to manage that challenge? I think that's the game of the business.
Sure. No, clearly your execution has been better, but unfortunately the industry has become so slow that you're also running against time. So how is the progress on the monetization of some of the assets? How close are we to see any result?
Kirti?
Yeah, on debt reduction related initiatives, we are closely working with a couple of investors, and we are closely working with our lenders also, because it is a solution which require lenders working hand in hand with company. So we are progressing well on these things, and we will have some meaningful result by end of this financial year.
Okay. Lastly, there is also, the old question of developers trying to do O&M themselves. Are you seeing that continuing, or has it slowed down? Any comments there?
We keep hearing in the market, but we are not seeing any of our customers till now even initiating a discussion with her, saying that they would like to forget about doing O&M themselves, even reducing the scope of comprehensive O&M at this stage. Because I've been on the other side of the table. I've been running a utility before coming here. Even we had a small capacity of wind, which I keep giving example to everybody. We were running thousands of megawatts of conventional, but when I got the first 40-50 megawatts of wind, then I couldn't believe when people said that we need to go for O&M to the wind OEM, which happened to be Suzlon. Here the problem is these are not within the boundary, so they are open. And your boundary management, because you're managing the pathways even during the operating life cycle, you're managing various other things, it becomes very, very important. It's not like a conventional within the four walls locked up and you have a team which is operating and you're not influenced by the external world. It's not the case here. So that is the reason it's not so easy. And second is that what we are doing is that we are constantly working towards how do we improve the performance for the clients. So as long as you keep working with them in tandem of improving their performance, either from the existing machines directly or by giving the value-added products, then there is a mutual interest. So at least for we are the largest, as I said that more than 12 gigawatts in India, we are not come across any such initiation of discussions. There could be some people who must be thinking, but there's nothing happened on the ground.
Okay, that's great. Just one more question. While we understand you're working on, reducing debt by monetization of, some of your assets, but given where the financial markets are, if that were not to happen, what is the plan B there?
First of all, we are very confident and the time is something, I know that the financial market is on a borrowing side is something where there are challenges, but the kind of people where we are talking, we are not worried about their financial aspect due to the size of those people. So that is number one. Number two, that on a secure lender side, I would say that all the liabilities are back-ended, so I have no reason to worry on that. I am current on those all liabilities. So far as convertible bond is concerned, even if there is a 1 or 2 months delay on what I am talking about, there is a sufficient time available up to July, middle of July, to address that issue. So basically right now, as I would say that let us stay focused on the transaction what we are talking about and see that how qualitatively, value creatively it is closed for all stakeholders rather than worrying about that okay whether it will result into default or not. I am working on a positive side rather than working on a negative side.
And also I think looking at the stage where we are in today, the relevance of Plan B has come down. Maybe the Plan B was there at some point of time. But I think as Katie said that we know where we are in. At this stage, I think the relevance of Plan B is not there.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Nitin Arora from D Shaw. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for taking my question. I guess I have two quick questions. One is a follow-up to the last discussion. So in addition to asset sales, I was just wondering if there's further margin for working capital optimization and some cash release from kind of rationalization of working capital, and if the management could share some thoughts around that. That's one. And the second one would be around some of the operational issues that you alluded to that have kind of been bearing down on sales. So if you could provide any additional color around what those operational issues are and what's been more meaningful in terms of top line growth muting down, and where do you stand currently relating to those issues? Thank you very much.
On the working capital, obviously you will see in our presentation itself, it's what you are saying is what is happening. So it's getting reduced. So therefore it's there clearly a slide in our investor presentation how the working capital is coming down, which is been our target, which is what I mentioned in my opening comments. And as the more and more the SECI volumes get stabilized with a longer time period, we expect this to further happen. As far as the order scenario is concerned, as we said that for us, we are the market leaders today in terms of the orders what is finalized. We have about 23-24% market share and being the number one in that. But then the issue what we were mentioning is that before we take the order, it's important for us to see the counterparty risk. So therefore we are a bit choosy. I'm not trying to be egoistic, but I'm trying to say practicality wise, we're a bit choosy because we're looking at implementability of the project and time is more important for us. And cash flow on time is important for us. So therefore we have been choosing the customers who are utility type of customers, and practically every single customer of ours in SECI is a utility, both the domestic and international utility service. So that's where the issues and the point which the Tulsibai was enumerating is that all three have to get aligned in terms of who is the OEM and who is the counterpart, the investor, and the third is that which state are you trying to do, because these days there are some state-specific issues all cropping up. Like for example, we're seeing in Gujarat because of concentration of projects there. Initially, it was only the evacuation infrastructure which we talked about creating delays, but today even the land is creating this thing. And the third is that if you have so much of concentration coming up in one single location, you would also start competing for the resources. The resources will become limited. So those are the things which we need to look at when we take these orders. So that's what we said as operational issues, which we evaluate before we take the order rather than post-order analysis.
Right, sorry, I have one follow-up if I may.
Yeah, please.
And again, I don't mean to beat around the dead horse, but maybe there's a different way to ask, perhaps kind of phrasing this question. So as it relates to working capital, what I was trying to get at is you said that perhaps a plan B at this point is irrelevant because you're aware of how well you're placed in terms of asset sales. But what I'm trying to get at is, even as a tail event, I guess, is further working capital optimization necessary to bolster asset sales and then take care of the balance sheet, or do you think just asset sales by themselves are good enough and working capital release is not meaningful either anymore?
No, I think we handle them two independently, irrespective of the asset monetization. The optimizing the working capital is a constant effort for us. It's very, very important for us to do that. We're not doing working capital optimization purely from the point of view of our the transaction what we're going through. We're doing it for the purpose of improving the efficiency of our own operations. While we deal with the clients in terms of starting from there itself, what is our the payment terms in terms of that, because there is a huge amount of upfront you need to make investments these days in terms of your land and evacuation facility for these large projects, and this doesn't get monetized, evacuation facility doesn't get monetized till at least 50% of the project is done, which is the large capacity today. So therefore, the working capital release is an important aspect, even future, even let's say that the whatever KP said goes through on that. I don't think our attention towards reduction of working capital will stop. We can't.
Sure, understood. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Mohit Kumar from IDFC Securities. Please go ahead. Hello, Mr. Mohit Kumar.
You have to be a little louder, please.
Mr. Mohit Kumar, we are unable to hear you, sir. Mr. Mohit Kumar, if you can hear us. Hello, sir. We are unable to hear your questions.
Yeah, sorry. Good morning.
Sir, you need to repeat yourself, please. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Good morning. Sir, my question pertains to the execution. There is quite a slowdown in FY19 in the last 9 months. How do you see execution in Q4 FY19, FY20 going forward? And what are the various deadlines by which you have to install, especially SECI 3, where you have a huge order backlog of 785 megawatts, if I'm not wrong?
Yeah. See, there are when we talked about FY20 as a sector before we come to us, when we said that FY20 is going to be the year of peak, till now, okay, FY21 could be more than 20, that's a different issue, but till now, is a simple fact that if you take at the macro level of this 10,680 megawatt, 10,680 megawatt got awarded, we don't see more than, let's say, 1,500 to 1,800 megawatts getting commissioned in this year, in the SECI 1 and SECI 2 and some state bidding put together. So therefore, you're getting into the next year where most of the capacity either to be added or at least supplied of this, because the last of these are going to July 21, but supply has to happen, are there for the next year. So therefore, if you're starting the year with, let's say, 9,500 megawatts of this thing, so therefore our expectation was about 7,000 to 8,000 megawatts is what definitely would get commissioned FY20. And as far as coming specific to us is concerned, yes, obviously that this year we could have done more than what we have done currently. The simple reason being that the delays in terms of the land in the last 3 to 4 months in terms of the stalemate what we got in terms of Gujarat has impacted us. This has only moved some of our capacity, what you could have, our capacity, more importantly some of the supplies, the deliveries, moved from this year to the next year. Not the commissioning, the deliveries. But as far as the 785 megawatt is concerned, you know that the November 19 is the PPA date for commissioning of this. With assuming that the land issue in Gujarat would get resolved, which is they already started the process, would get resolved in this quarter, we are still confident of maintaining the date of this. SECI 1 we maintain, we did ahead of schedule. SECI 2 is the first week of May, we will definitely do before the PPA date. So therefore, having done SECI 1 and SECI 2, SECI 3 also we are in that 785 megawatt, the part capacity is, we are doing an SAA for Adani. We are not doing ourselves for land. So therefore, they are going ahead with their work, and then we will supply. Our supplies will commence this quarter, and that will still get commissioned on this. The other portion, what we are doing it, and we are still reasonably hopeful that we will be able to maintain PPA schedule at this stage. And the SECI 4 anyway is February 2020, so therefore there is sufficient time for that, so that this hurdle should not impact the schedule at this stage.
Sir, what is the status of 700 megawatt PPA which is awaiting a ratification from the regulator?
In Andhra Pradesh, yes, a lot of water has flown in this quarter in AP finally. The PPAs were examined by the Regulatory Commission, and then they wanted certain modifications to be done, and the modified PPAs, re-signed PPAs have been submitted to the the regulator. Regulator has now accepted the petition and allotted the members for that. And the first hearing, public hearing, is not first, the public hearing is on 23rd of February. Already it is on the website, so for anyone to participate. So the process has started. The public hearing also is scheduled now for 23rd February. So it's reasonable to expect that optimistic way is end of March, but otherwise I think by April we should have the tariff order in position.
The last question is, how is the bid pipeline looking at this point of time, and are you worried that as the country moves to the election, the further bids will be delayed by 6-7 months?
See, as we spoke, we said that already 10,680 megawatts is awarded, and then there is a 1,200 megawatts of SECI 6 is happening. Reverse auction is on 15th of February. That would get awarded definitely before March. And then another 1,200 megawatts of hybrid is also announced. And then there is a possibility, what we hear from the ministry, is that another round of bidding, that's a SECI 7, and which hopefully will be back to 2,000 megawatts, because the response for the SECI the 6 has been good, because we were told that if the SECI 6 response is good, and then they'll go back to the original capacity of 2,000 megawatts. So the 2,000 megawatts more might come. So our expectation is that the 4,500 megawatts more bidding would happen before March. And then, of course, the state level wise, Gujarat might run their bid.
So one small clarification. So is SECI 6 likely to be set up in other states? Is the Gujarat completely, full right at this point of time?
I wish I know the competition, what they're thinking of. So, because we would know exactly where, I think after the reverse auction, once they put in, and also you would not know. Initially, you can give any state, but subsequently, till the financial closure, you have an option to shift the project. You would know at this stage where these projects are going to come.
Thank you, sir. All the best.
But as far as we are concerned, we are trying to be careful not to go in the places where there are hurdles.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Neha Punjabi from Minerva Advisors. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity. I had two questions. One being, we've had some sale of assets on the solar power side, and just wanted to understand what kind of reduction in debt did these assets lead to, and what was the equity that got freed up as well.
No, this debt was not on our books anyway. They were there as asset for sale, so they were not getting reflected in our debt. So therefore, there is no impact on the debt portion of it. And these projects, as we explained earlier, all the solar projects, 340 megawatts, what we built and sold, these were built and we monetized them much before. In terms of though we sold 49% stake as per the PPA, 51% is getting transferred later, but the entire funding for the equity also happened from the people who bought it. So therefore, as far as the company is concerned, so there is equity or the debt has no impact, except that whenever we did that, we had that our EPC and our EPC margins.
Got it. So this debt was not reflective in the overall debt of the company?
No.
Got it. My second question is, there is a pipeline of 10.6 gigawatts, and you've been stating that about 7 to 8 gigawatts would be commissioned next year. Having said that, you have also stated that there are land issues that are extremely problematic. So on a realistic level, how much do you think would be a capacity that would be commissioned based on the auctions that have already happened?
First thing is, let me correct. I don't think I mentioned extremely problematic. I didn't go to that extreme level of saying the problem is unresolvable. Yes, for the last few months, there has been slowdown in the allotment of land in the state of Gujarat. And if you see the 50% of this capacity, what is bid out is coming in Gujarat. And now they're trying to resolve it. In fact, they come up with a policy for award of the land, and the whole thing is getting resolved. So therefore, our assumption at this stage is that this process will get resolved this month or maximum in the middle of next month. So therefore, while there is a temporary impact in terms of land, and it's delayed by a few months, but I think the the capacity, some capacity which could have come in this year would go to the next year. But the next year we still maintain our the estimate of 7 to 8 gigawatts.
Get commission. Okay, great. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Harshit Kapadia from Elara Capital. Please go ahead.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity, sir. A few questions from my side. Sir, in SECI 3 auction, you have won 785 megawatts. This pertains to largely one state, or is it divided across state?
Entire 785 megawatt is in Gujarat, but there are two different types of projects. 500 megawatt is what we are doing EPC, where it includes the land and everything is our responsibility. And the 252 megawatts is the SAA, what we call it. It is supply and installation and commissioning. So for Adani, where we are not doing the land, we are not doing the balance of plant for them. So there is scope difference. So therefore, there are parallel efforts by both of us. They are acquiring land for them and we are acquiring land for us. So therefore, it's advantage for us.
Okay. And with the 500 megawatt where you are doing the EPC, the land, is there all the land issues have been resolved and you are going ahead with the project, or there has been some delay in that as well?
No, we are going ahead with the project. First of all, there is no the stoppage of the project. There has been a slowdown in terms of the land allotment in the last few months, as we mentioned on this, and which is now getting, as we speak, it's getting resolved. So hopefully this month, by end of this month, it should get resolved, and then it will pick up the speed further. It didn't completely stop because we were also trying to do some the private land acquisition. So at plus we had some land already in our hand, so therefore we were working there.
Okay. And what about the 252 megawatt Adani ka orders?
They're working. They're going ahead, and then with as I said some time back, ours is supply and installation, so the supplies will come in this quarter.
In this quarter itself. And sir, just in the Q3.
And that will be faster supplies because, as you know, that order we announced just now.
Okay.
And supplies are going immediately.
Okay. And sir, on your gross margins have improved considerably, in this quarter, and which is also made due to EBIT profit. So can you please explain, sir, what has been the revenue mix? Is it more product driven, less of EPC? That's one of the reason why, and we could see a lower number in next quarter. If you can give color on that.
No, I think gross margin wise, I always told you that please try to see us on annual basis, because on quarterly basis, if business unit wise mix is different, the way you explain in this particular quarter, where service is a higher portion of our revenue, because we did only 67 megawatt in a turbine side. So naturally this will give you distorted picture on a margin. So 44% is something which you should not be building in any of your projects.
But even on the wind turbine generator per se as well, where the revenue difference is not much, but your PBIT difference is considerably high. So can you please let me explain that?
I think you are referring to segmental result, right?
Yes, sir, segmental result, sir.
Yeah, so segmental result, there is a consistency in number. That is what you are trying to say, or there is inconsistency in margin?
So the loss has turned to profit despite your sales volume has not increased considerably on a quarter-on-quarter basis if I'm comparing.
Correct. That is generally in the nature of scope. If you have a higher EPC or a higher WTG supply, and that is why if we get into those details of what is supply and what is EPC every quarter, here as JPC told you that we supplied 67 megawatt, but we commissioned more than 283 megawatt. Yeah, 283 megawatt. So naturally there is a gap in supply versus execution, and that is the primary reason for what inconsistency you are seeing in the number.
I think it's purely if you're looking at overall consolidated level mix of business segment wise revenue, and if you're looking at segment wise and WTG business alone, there are two variables. One is the supply and other one is the actual execution EPC. So depending upon which contribution is more, then the percentage will change. So our margins are higher in supply, and that's in this.
And so with the order book that you have, how much of the orders are for S11 120 wind turbines?
I think the 111 120 we don't have any orders. We have a few 111 orders, but they're for 140.
Yeah, for one.
Otherwise, predominantly our order backlog is for 120, the S120.
S120. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Sudhakar Prabhu from NetSoft. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So my first question is again on this land thing in Gujarat. I was under the impression that Suzlon has all the land and other infrastructure in Gujarat to execute projects, but somehow this is something new to me that we are facing land issue in Gujarat.
In the land, what we have, we were talking about is the state bidding. Okay, in the state level, because 1.5 years back, all the projects were happening at the state level. As obviously you were right, we have the land, we also have the evacuation facility. But now currently in the bidding regime, these are all the projects which are getting connected to the power grid, national grid. So therefore, these are a completely different set of lands. And even here, the entire land identified, applied, and it's in the middle of the processes. So that's where it got delayed.
So now I will explain about the Gujarat issue. The the system has changed. Earlier FIT. FIT means you are putting a project and putting in the energy into the state grid. Now it is a simple bidding process. So whatever the state grid is no more useful, and state grid related surrounding sites are not useful for the SECI bidding process. And SECI bidding process, the substation and line is connected to the PGCIL. So wherever the PGCIL substation is there, so mostly is in the Gujarat is the maximum capacity available is in the Kutch. So almost 10,000 to 15,000 megawatt potentiality in the Kutch is there. So that area state doesn't require much more energy. So Gujarat has most of the sites are in the Saurashtra for the state grid. And Kutch bidding is coming from the SECI. Out of 10.5 gigawatt, almost 4.5 gigawatt land and bidding has happened in the Kutch area, particularly by every party has done. These 4.5 gigawatt has created some problem in the state of the Gujarat, first of all, because the state government has planned the 30,000 megawatt they want to build the infrastructure for the state requirement for the GUNL to build in the next 10 years 30,000 megawatt to support this energy production for the requirement of the farmers' load, to reduce the cost of energy, because this area is a very high windy sites and good potentiality of the solar is there. So they have done the planning of 30,000 megawatt to reduce their burden of the cost reduction for the farmers to make that happen. Meanwhile, this SECI has come the bid and 4,500 bid has happened on the same area. So that has created conflict, first of all. And because of that, now government has taken 3 to 4 months to resolve that issue, and now they have earmarked certain areas for the SECI purpose, and certain areas they have earmarked for their state requirement of 30,000 megawatts. And that all these issues in the last 3-4 years government has worked aggressively and resolved that. Now we see in this month, this 4,500 megawatt, it's not just Suzlon one project of 500 megawatt, it's a total industries. Not a single megawatt has given in the last 4 months. So all the projects of the industries at a one stock in this month, 4,500 megawatt land will be released and people will start working on those. And those projects anyway will be installed and commissioned in the next year. So that is a large bunch is coming to resolve the industry's issues.
And for this 4,500 megawatt of land which would be available, which would be made available to developers, is this fully connected with the grid?
Yes, and the 4,500 megawatt, the grid infrastructure PGCL is available. Out of that, 3,200 megawatt immediately can be connection is possible, and PGCL is also expanding the capacity, and that will be sufficient in the next year, almost 4,500 to 5,000 megawatt power evacuation is possible. So earlier was a power evacuation problem, but after that land issues. So both has resolved. Central and state government is working very aggressively because the priority, the capacity has to come. And based on that, now it's all matter is resolved, and the question of now to start the execution from next month.
Right. As far as power evacuation is concerned, it depends upon who is where, and as Kathy said, that it would be available, there could be timing. But we can only comment upon the projects which we are executing. The SECI 2 we are doing there, which is now, we will be ready for commissioning shortly in the next few weeks, and the power grid substation is ready. And similarly for our SECI 3 and SECI 4, we don't see any problem of the power evacuation being available by the time we are ready for that. So therefore, I think it varies from individual contract where they are doing and what is the timeline. Evacuation will be available. Will it match with the project commissioning or not? I think we won't be able to comment. We can comment only about our capacity.
Okay. And your SECI 2 and 3 would also be in Gujarat? Sorry, 3 and 4?
Yeah, SECI 2 is in Gujarat. SECI 3 is, as I mentioned some time back, is in Gujarat. One of the projects is EPC, other project is supply and direction. And the SECI 4, which we are doing for NL, is also in Gujarat.
Okay, right. And sir, you mentioned that this 700 megawatt of AP contract, AP framework contract would also be part of your order book by April of 19. In addition to this, what else can we expect in terms of order inflow to your order book?
Now, let me just clarify. What I mentioned, the April 19 is the tariff finalization with the Regulatory Commission.
Okay.
So because the public hearing, we signed the PPAs have been submitted to the Regulatory Commission. They have a public hearing on 23rd of February. So our reasonable expectation is that the process started, the tariff finalization, most optimistic is March, but realistic wise end of April will happen. So having said that, once that is done, then the framework contracts have to get converted into a firm orders. So for that I have not mentioned any date, but obviously that would happen soon after that, at some point of time.
Okay.
But that's the capacity what is available for us, which we have been saying always, and that's the capacity would come for, depending upon that. We have a time of 2 years to execute those projects from the date of approval of PPA.
Right. And lastly, again coming back.
In addition to that, other pipeline wise, as I said some time back, the 3,200 megawatts which has not been awarded by the means no EPC contract has been finalized till date of the awarded projects. We are talking to various the investors. So therefore, we are targeting some of those projects. Plus, we are also working with some large investors for the SECI 6, where the pitch of one is with the PP tire. Then obviously we will also look at SECI 7 as well as the second hybrid what is coming in.
Right. And so the SECI 5 order and the NTPC order, has the project been already awarded?
To our knowledge, no EPC contract has been finalized for NTPC and the SECI 5. They are still open.
So they should be finalized by next 6 months, within next 6 months, or it will take time?
No, it has to be finalized before that to meet this PPA date should be July 2021. So
okay.
July 2021 commissioning date. So therefore they have to get finalized.
Okay. And lastly, sir, again coming back to your debt thing. So we have been talking about debt reduction for almost 1 year now, and I understand that it takes time to complete the process. But what is stopping the company from closing the deal? Is it the valuation thing, or is it more of procedural thing which is stopping the company from closing the deal?
Let me first correct. Kirti will talk about the process, but let me correct about the guidance. We didn't say on the day 1 of this year that it could happen tomorrow.
No, I understand that, but
no. We gave an yearly guidance saying that in this year our target is to reduce the debt by that. And sometime back, Kirti has clearly mentioned that as we given the guidance, by end of March, you will see a clear progress in that.
Yeah, basically, see, there is nothing stopping. You know that this kind of a transaction is not generally takes a lot of time due to number of steps involved in the process. And unfortunately, I cannot give guidance on each step that where I am right now and what is stopping the process, because that will be too much sharing confidential details about the commercial transaction and which can have implications. So basically you need to rely on the fact that we are seriously working and there are good counterparties with whom we are working, and we already demonstrated the confidence that you will see meaningful progress by end of this financial year.
Thank you, sir. This answers all my question. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question for today. I would now like to hand the conference over to Mr. Tulsi Tanti for his closing comments. Over to you, sir.
We appreciate your interest in the company and concern with respect to the dynamic situation of the industries in the recent past. The industries in the inflation points and growth will pick up from the FY20 onwards. With 10 to 12 gigawatt of the annual auction expected, India is positioned to meet its long-term target of the 60 gigawatt of the wind industries. By this size of the market, India is becoming the third largest market in the world after the China and US. As the tariffs remain competitive, more and more states will be encouraged to firm up their renewable energy policy and procure more and more wind and the solar hybrid powers. So this is evident from the formation of the various the policy with respect to the land allocation or firming of the state-wise wind and wind solar hybrid policies. The government focus on a renewable energy will drive the business visibility very strongly. As earlier I have said in beginning, the calendar year 2018, the 74% the new energy capacity added in our country is from the renewable energy, and we see that trend will continue for the next 5 years because we don't have a very strong plan for the conventional energy source at this moment. Also see the investor interest is very, very strong is there because India is becoming third largest market in the world, and China, US and India. The very few opportunity for the large investor to invest in China, and the US is becoming saturate. So there is a good appetite for the large investor to invest in a big way in India. Just an example of the last current SECI 6. The 1200 megawatt size of the bid and demand has come out 2400, so 2x demand is there. So based on that, now SECI 7 will come approximately 2000 megawatt size of the bid to satisfy the demand on the market side. No doubt in challenges remain in the initial stage of the power acquisition, the lands and other things. I think now it's all that type of the issue is becoming streamlined, and we see the good executions, the strength and capability will grow in FY20. Suzlon is ideally positioned to benefit from this huge opportunity, and we are able to garner 30% plus market share even in the growing market given our the core competitive strength. So the competitive integrated business model, end-to-end the executions, the strong project execution experience spanning over the 2 decades, the superior cost competitive domestic the manufactured technology displayed through our new generation turbine which offers the higher energy yield and lower the levelized cost of energy. Most of the states, windy states, we have a presence and we have a big and large installed capacity to manage the such a high growth is coming in the next year. We are fully vertical integrated operation is giving our strategy very, very competitive to manage the growth. Not only that, and they remain the competitive market, we can able to make our margin. also because of our competitive strength. We are best in class service and the last year, means in the calendar year 2018, our team has delivered 98% plus uptime of all our turbines. This is a great achievement in the Indian market, and very large fleet we are operating and managing and optimizing cost and enhancing our margin to provide the better and better service to our customer. That is the key driver for the large the financial investors to come and join with us to bid in the process. So that is a very clear opportunity we are taking. The technology and innovation, which are the key strengths, will continue to act as a catalyst, and that will drive the growth in the renewable energy the sector. And at the same time, we are leveraging the domestic manufacturing capacity, which we have a large. So that is giving the good competitive and fast delivery of the projects. The service business will witness the good growth due to the larger volume, and which will be in the turn lead to the better margin over the next 5 years. With that, I thank you all for joining us the call today, and we hope all your queries are answered. In case of any further question, kindly get in touch with our IR team. So we appreciate your time and presence with us. Thanks a lot, and we appreciate your supports in the company. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Please subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss another update. Please like, share and comment.